Second day of competition here at the 2024 Rogue Invitational from Aberdeen, Scotland, inside P&J Live. Thanks for being with us, everybody, as we get set for event number 4 in the CrossFit competition. It is Hunting Haggis, presented by Crocs. I'm Sean Woodland alongside former Affiliate Cup champion Adrian Conway, and we got Kiki Dixon down on the competition floor. We're going to kick things off with the women, and after day 1, we're 3 events in. We're only a third of the way through the competition, but what has stood out to you so far?
Well, Tia was Tia. Gabby was great. Laura did some damage control, and I think we're going to have a tight race on that podium.
We have a jam-packed schedule here on Saturday. All the divisions will be in action. Of course, we're starting with the CrossFit competition. The strong men and strong women have 3 events today, and we will crown champions tonight. There's 3 CrossFit events as well, and we're also going to have the legends out today. That should be a lot of fun. Women's overall standings, as you heard Adrian say, Tia was being Tia. She won all 3 events. She's the first woman to ever win all 3 events to begin the Rogue Invitational, and she now has 15 career event victories. Gabby McGowan, she has been impressive. 275 points, just 25 back at Tia Toomey, and it's Laura Horvath who has a 5-point lead on Brooke Wells for the 3rd and final spot on the podium. Event number 4 is Hunting Haggis, and if you were watching earlier and you heard Pat Sherwood talk about this event on the Iron Game show, this is borderline mean.
It really is mean. It's a 1K row to start, 30 thrusters at 95 pounds, 20 log muscle ups, and that log is 4 inches in diameter. They're going to finish with another 30 thrusters and a 1K row, which is just a brutal way to finish any event.
A different implement there with the log for the bar muscle ups. What are your keys to this event?
Yeah, the keys are going to be pause, don't stop. Those thrusters are going to be forced almost to be broken up because they're going to be segmented in 10s as they advance the bar. You want to make sure you don't spend too much time resting there, and then pace early and send late, Sean. So that first 1K row can be a trap. You've got to stay in control there, and then you're going to have to send it to have success on the back half.
First of 2 heats, one of the athletes we'll be paying close attention to, Alex Gazan.
Alex, high-capacity athlete. She has a big engine that she has been focused on continuing to develop. I really like her here with the log muscle-ups. Now, we'll see how she's able to navigate them today. As it's, there's not a lot of athletes that have exposure to being able to train this in the outside of the Rogue Invitational, which makes it unique, but historically she does really well in an event like this.
Here are your lane assignments for Heat 1, 10 women out on the competition floor. I mentioned Alex Gazan, she is in lane number 4. Down in lane number 8, that's where Danielle Brandon's going to be working right now, 15th place overall after 3 events. Her best finish was a 7th in event 1.
Yeah, and Danielle coming off of a struggle last night with those back squats. She was one of the only athletes that actually had to re-rack her bar to the rack, and I'm excited to see her. She's very well rounded, and I know she's going to be hungry this morning.
Stand by.
Heat 1 of Hunting Haggis, presented by Crocs, is underway for the women, and we start with that 1,000-meter row, and there's Danielle Brandon getting herself situated and getting right to work.
This is where we talk about early in this event to start the day. Emotions are going to be all over the place. They had great momentum yesterday, or maybe they had a start they didn't enjoy. They can't come out too fired up here on this 1K. Got to remain in control, save what energy you can in your legs and upper body, even though, of course, that's demanded of them on this rower, because they got a lot of work ahead of them. There
is Alex Gazan making her 2nd appearance here at the Rogue Invitational. Had a great showing in 2023 when she finished 5th. Coming off a 7th place finish in the CrossFit Games.
This takes so much discipline, Sean, to just be able to sit there and stay at a pace that you've probably already established with your coach or established in your warm-up, because you feel fresh right now. They're coming off of clearly just warming up in the back. This is the first event to start the day. So you'll notice these athletes all watching their monitor right there in front of them, which will tell them how fast they're going, and they're just trying to stay in a particular zone.
And there is a shot of that monitor, 2-minute pace. I think that's Danielle Brandon we're looking at. No, that's Sydney Wells. Took a guess.
Yep. But yeah, so it's right around that 2-minute pace. That means she'll get off this rower right about the 4-minute mark approximately for a 1K. And the trick is for you to feel your very best to get to the barbell, but not be out of shot at competing for a top spot in the event. What makes this hard is that you don't really get an opportunity to see much of what your peers are rowing. You can try to get a glance at what their splits are, but a lot of these women in the back were probably being a little nosy with each other, like, hey, what are you thinking about rowing out there? They're paying close attention in the warm-up.
And if you think they're trying to peek up onto the Jumbotron to see those shots that we're showing you, because those are being played in the arena here, they're directly underneath the video screen, so they do not have an angle to see any shots at anybody's screens.
If you've been in the CrossFit community for a while, you understand that this workout has similar demands as a traditional benchmark called Jackie, which is a devastating test in itself. Much more sprint-based, where you're only going to get on the rower one time. You're going to have some thrusters with an empty barbell and then pull-ups. But this design, this is Rogue Invitational at its finest. We've got heavy thrusters, and we're going to do 60 of them. We've got a row, but we're going to go through 2,000 meters, not just one. And then, of course, the muscle-ups couldn't just be regular rig muscle-ups. These are going to be done with a log 4 inches in diameter, something very difficult to replicate in practice for these athletes out at their local affiliate.
We're a little past the 3-minute mark right now, 3 minutes, 12 seconds. You can see the clock in the background behind Amanda Barnhart. She's putting the finishing touches on her 1,000-meter row. Just about all the judges' hands are in the air as their respective athletes are getting set to finish the first part of this event. First of 2 heats here in event number 4.
They're about to finish the warm-up, Sean. That's exactly what this acted as for a lot of these women. They weren't trying to do anything glamorous here because they understand the most separation they can create is going to happen on the barbell and on the log.
Amanda Barnhart, 13th place overall. Coming off her best finish of the competition last night when she took 10th in event 3.
Amanda, historically, one of the most powerful athletes in our space.
Well, Amanda Barnhart is going to be the second woman off of the rower. And Taylor Williamson was first to the barbell. She's at the top of your screen in the black shirt and long gray pants. Now Dana Perrin next to her at the top of your screen. Onto the thrusters as well.
Again, they're working through 30 of these. They're going to have to squat all the way below parallel. Again, hip crease, like the back squats yesterday. Hip crease below the top of the knee, and then they have to extend the arms all the way at the top, bar overhead.
They'll move ahead every 10 reps. You can see the hash marks on the floor. And it is Taylor Williamson who is your leader now. She's through 14 of those thrusters. They got 20 reps, so 1 rep for every 50 meters for the row. And now 1 rep for every thruster. At the 50 rep mark, that's when they'll move on to the log muscle-ups. And there is Taylor Williamson, comes in 17th place overall. Got to this event out of the qualifier. She had a 4th place finish in event 2. Someone we're used to seeing in the team competition. And now there's Alex Kazan, who's on the back half of her set of 30 thrusters at 95 pounds.
And while the athletes have to advance the bar every 10, they're not forced to drop there. They could hold on, they could transition overhead, they could transition with the bar in the front rack. So as we watch athletes drop and pause, that's their rest that they're intentionally taking to keep their heart rate low so they have a better chance at success when they turn around and face that log for the log muscle-ups.
Danielle Brandon through 46 of those 50 reps she needs to hit before she gets to the bar muscle-ups. So just 4 reps remaining for her on the thrusters as Kazan moves her barbell forward as she's now going to head to the log along with Taylor Williamson. Dana Perrin as well is done with her 30 thrusters.
I think we'll see a lot of this, Sean, the transition being a little slower here as they wrap their mind around what they're going to have to do to get their bodies around that log and on top to be able to lock out their arms at the top. And I think we'll really get a good idea of how confident they are after we see a first rep or 2 on their way to 20. They have to complete 20 here. Wow, impressive. Dana Perrin being one of those athletes, Sean, that's never been to the Rogue Invitational before. I'd imagine that's got to be one of her first opportunities to do a log muscle up there like that.
Taylor Williamson right next to her failed one. This is the first time she's probably dealt with an implement like this.
Alex looking very efficient here. You'll notice that she actually had her thumbs wrapped around the log. It's rare to see athletes be able to grip it that way. That could be an advantage for her.
20 reps here at the 70 rep mark. That's when they'll go back to the barbell for 30 more thrusters. And Alex Gazan is through 8 of her 20 reps.
Okay, so thumbs on top now. She's got more of a false grip. Again, you're going to notice most of their hands, they're trying to keep as much of their hands on top of that log as possible. If they're able to link reps together, like we've seen Alex Gazan do here a couple times, it's really important for them to come down with control. You're going to see most of these women opt for single repetitions at a time, one at a time, a short break. Again, one of the keys here was pause, don't stop, anticipate the rest, and try to stay fluid.
There's Paige Semenza, who comes in 12th place overall, looking to work her way into that second and final heat if she can get inside the top 10. She's only 5 points back of Maddie Sturt for 10th. Alex Gazan has 6 reps remaining. Danielle Brandon, who has been just chipping through this with singles, is starting to gain a little ground. Semenza also in second place. Emma Tall doing pretty well. And Emma McQuaid starting to creep up. Danielle Brandon trying to rebound from a last place finish last night in Braveheart that featured that heavy back squat.
And this is definitely the longest break we've seen Danielle take. She chalked up her wrists and her hands, of course, to make sure that she's got as much grip on top of that log as possible.
And now Alex Gazan is done. She'll move back to the barbell. 30 more thrusters at 95 pounds, 43 kilos, and then a final 1,000 meter row.
We talked about how evil this workout is, written format. She just entered the most evil part of it, Sean.
Well, this morning at our production meeting, we were sitting around the table talking about how well she was going to do, and as you mentioned her name, she literally walked in the door that was 10 feet away, heard her name, and said, "What are you talking about me? Is it good? Is it good?" We said, "Yes, it's good, Alex. We think you're going to do well in this event." And so far, she's proven us right. Now, Danielle Brandon is going to be the second woman to the barbell.
Danielle, with the movement quality that she can exhibit with the barbell here in this front rack position, is going to stay very fluid and very efficient with the thrusters. So it's going to be on Alex to really have that grit and fight down the stretch here to keep her off.
Now Paige Semenza is the third woman to start her final set of 30 thrusters. And you talk to Alex Gazan's coach, Justin Codler, and he just cannot say enough good things about Alex. Really has high expectations of her and doesn't think that she is anywhere near her full potential yet.
Yeah, she certainly has much room to grow, and yet she's accomplished so much in our sport in her few years of being an elite level competitor.
Emma Tall in the all burgundy next to Alex Gazan is on her thrusters. Amanda Barnhart towards the top of your screen just picked up her barbell, and at the bottom of the screen, that's Emma McQuaid. So at the 100 rep mark, that is when Alex Gazan will proceed back to the rower for the final time. A 16-minute time cap here.
And these athletes can't go quite full send on the thrusters because they know what's looming, a 1K row, just like they started this event, but it's going to be extremely different on the back half. When we see athletes sit down on that rower, if any of them get there closely around that same time window, it is going to be an absolute battle through the finish.
Right now, Gazan has a 6-rep lead on Danielle Brandon. Alex has 2 reps now, 1 to go, and she's finished, and we'll move to the rower first. So final 1,000 meters for Alex Gazan here. She looks to pick up the win in heat 1 of 2 in event 4, the 4th of 9 events that these athletes will face throughout this weekend. So Gazan with 130 points coming in. just 5 points back of Maddie Sturt for 10th.
You'll notice Emma Tall she was trying to find that rest position there with her hands on the bar, stretch her lower back. The pressure these athletes are feeling through, again, we talked about bracing last night, but through their midline, trying to find space to breathe. But while that 95 pounds bears down on what feels to be your soul, it is extremely uncomfortable, and now they got to go really send it on this row. Now Gazan started her row at 11:42. Emma Tall sat down at about 12:17. Significant lead for Alex.
Amanda Barnhart's on the rower, and here come Danielle Brandon on the right side of your screen and Paige Semenza in the middle. 5 women onto their final 1,000-meter rows, and Danielle Brandon took a little time getting herself situated before she started pulling on the handles. 120 reps is when Alex Gazan will be able to get up off the rower and head to the finish line. They get a rep for every 50 meters. Emma Tall right now 16th place overall. Best finish was an 8th place in the opening event.
Already seen an increase in speed compared to what we saw for those opening rows. Even after all the work they did, that shows the composure and the pacing that they started to open with around that 2-minute pace. And now Alex is trying to settle right around a 1:54 pace. And I'd imagine that it will only gain speed, Sean, as she nears the finish line.
Now keep an eye on the judges. They will move their hands every 50 meters to let our scorers know to add another rep. Now Taylor Howe, bottom of your screen, getting set on the rower. We only have a couple women still out on the floor. We still have a couple women back on the bar muscle-ups, one of which is Taylor Williamson, who was one of the first women to get to that implement, and now she's heading back to the barbells. Taylor just completed her set. Sydney Wells is also stuck on the bar muscle-ups. There is Taylor Williamson.
And that's the thing about the log, Sean. It can start one way and go very wrong very quickly, depending upon your exposure to it and also how you pace out those 20 reps. It's so different than a traditional bar muscle-up, which all of these athletes on the competition floor have high mastery of. They could do 20 in a row, many of them. But this significantly changes everything from the way you hold the log to the way that your body has to move around that 4-inch in diameter. Makes it challenging.
Well, this is the first time that Sydney has competed at the Rogue Invitational, so she has not competed on this implement before. Same with Taylor Williamson. Now Dana Perrin is on the rower. Alex Gazan is, I got 200 meters to go here.
Yeah, and this is where just from a mindset perspective, I'd like to see her increase her stroke frequency, which means, hey, get the paddle to the rower a little faster here, Alex. There's 10 women watching you go. I know you're suffering, but you got to sell out right now. We got to send it. Every second's going to matter once the next heat takes the floor.
Now, Emma Tall has managed to gain some ground here. She's got 200 meters left. Probably not going to be enough to catch Gazan, who's going to sprint her way across the finish line once she gets to 120 reps.
139 split right now, Sean. She's cranking it. That's what you want to see in the finish right there. She's battling and fighting.
Well, Gazan is off. She's going to win the heat right around 15:39 unofficially. 15:39.01 seconds for her. And now Emma Tall, who has put on a huge charge here, fighting with Amanda Barnhart, and Tall is going to be off first. Amanda Barnhart's cranking away. And that's the time cap. So only 2 women are going to finish unless Emma Tall did not get across the finish line inside the buzzer. We'll have to wait for her official score, but we do know that woman, Alex Gazan, is going to be your heat winner, 15:39.01 seconds. I'm glad she heard you talking about her this morning.
That's right. Hopefully we gave her some motivation. She walked in at the right time, I guess, but we liked what she had historically as an athlete. We knew what she brings in from a mindset perspective, and she typically does really well when she's got to pull and hang. So today it was the log. Later it'll be the ropes. I think that she's probably excited for what is to wait for her opportunity-wise with gaining some points.
And again, not sure if Emmental made it before the buzzer, but she did get through the entirety of the reps. Looks like she's going to finish second in the heat.
And it was Alex Gazan early and often. She got off the rower third there, but that was intentional. She knew she could get off toe-to-toe with the rest of the women in this heat. But it was her being able to navigate these log muscle-ups, pace the first thrusters just right, and look at the fluidity there, the awareness. She dropped down into singles as she built fatigue, and then, of course, it was her grit and tenacity here on the back half of these thrusters, and, of course, that 1K row. She had a strong flex coming in, representing for the underdogs here today, start day 2.
Alex Gazan takes heat number 1, 15:39.01 seconds. Emmental does not get across the finish line, and Amanda Barnhart barely missed finishing up her row. Paige Siemens is going to finish in 4th, followed by Danielle Brandon in 5th place. Second and final heat coming up next. And you talked about Gabby McGowan, and she has been impressive. Unfortunately, she's being overshadowed by the perfect performance from Tia Toomey.
Yeah.
But 2 seconds and a 4th so far for Gabby.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, Gabby came out and really, it's as close to a flawless run as you can almost hope it as a CrossFit athlete. You want to show that you're well-rounded. Yesterday, we test so many modalities, and she showed up great in every one of them.
Lane assignments for the second and final heat. Gabby McGowan will be working out of lane number 5. Tia Toomey, your overall leader, will be in lane 6, and it's Laura Horvath in lane 7, who did some damage control last night. She's got 210 points, has some ground to make up to catch Gabby McGowan.
That's right, and she's focused here, Sean. Historically, she loves to climb. I like her chances to be able to navigate this log, maybe better than a lot of the other women in this field. I think we're going to watch her really closely in this event to shine a little bit here this morning.
Laura Horvath started the competition with a 4th place finish, and then she took 3rd in event 2. Then last night, in the Braveheart event that featured that wall walk complex that had 2 wall-facing handstand push-ups for every rep, that's where she fell back a little bit. Finished 14th. Damage control event for her, but so 14th in that event. Pretty good for Laura Horvath.
Yep, yeah, we like it. I think from that perspective, it gave her momentum coming into day 2, knowing, hey, there's going to be a lot of opportunity for points on the board. Still got 6 scored events left, and I know that was probably the event that I was going to struggle with the most.
It was Brooke Wells in lane 4. She's right now 4th place overall, just 5 points back of Horvath for 3rd. Heat 2 underway. Only one woman was able to get through the entirety of the work in heat number 1, and that was Alex Gazan. 15:39.01 seconds is the time to beat. 1,000 meters to start on the rower.
We can expect a bit of more of the same from heat 1 here in this opening 1K. I will be interested to see if some of these women come out with a touch more of an aggressive opening split. Last heat, it was about 2 minutes per 500 on average, so they got out off around the 4-minute mark.
20 total reps for the 1,000 meter row. They get a rep for every 50 meters.
All right, and we're already seeing the GOAT here, Tia Claire Toomey, rowing somewhere between a 155 and a 158 thus far. That would put her off approximately 6 to 10 seconds faster than heat 1 average. Which, Sean, when we consider overall work being done in this event and so many women getting time capped at the 16-minute mark in heat 1, you think 6 to 10 seconds, that's not very much. And I'll tell you what, on a rower, that's the trap, because you get lulled into wanting to go faster, and it really doesn't gain you much advantage, specifically if you're not going to go unbroken the rest of the event. So these women, again, showing composure, self-control. They could go much faster, but they know it's not time yet.
Kiki Dixon is the 4th member, or 3rd member, I should say, of our thinking strongman with 4 people. 3rd member of our broadcast team. She's down there on the competition floor with more on Brooke Wells. Kiki?
You know, sometimes I do feel like 2 people in one spot, Sean, so you're right about that. All right, you guys. I was able to connect with Brooke. She actually had no idea that she was in 4th. She's not much of a leaderboard stalker, if you will. With that said, she's super excited to be this close to the top after what she considered to be a poor execution yesterday on event 2. clearly it wasn't that bad if she's sitting in fourth. But hey, I get it. She's looking forward to today. She's never done log bar muscle ups, unfortunately, but she does hope that they'll go well. Isn't entirely sure what to expect. She said that either way, she'll be giving her all, doing what she can to fight into the top 3. While she might not be too certain about what to expect today, she did mention that Sunday should be a great day for her. So guys, I think we're going to want to keep an eye on her, no doubt.
Brooke Wells, just 5 points out again of third place. So if she just beats Laura Horvath by 1 spot in this event, she's going to erase that deficit. Coming off a second place finish is Brooke Wells last night in Braveheart. Has a little bit of momentum here.
Yeah, it's interesting to hear that she's not a leaderboard stalker. You know what I mean? Like, she's not looking at that between events or between days. I think that's really challenging to do in today's world with social media and all the ways that you could see where you're placed. I think that shows some maturity for Brooke, though. I appreciate that, and I think it probably helps her keep her mind and her feet focused where she is. It's a great tactic as an athlete.
Take a look at Laura Horvath rower. She's on about a 1 minute 53, 54 second pace. She and Gabby McGowan are towards the front here on this initial 1,000 meter row.
Oh yeah, here we go. All those hands. Another thing is we can anticipate the women making their way to the barbell. Again, they're going to do 30 thrusters. They will advance every 10, but they don't got to drop the bar necessarily, Sean. So one of our big focus here is pause, but don't stop. They've got to anticipate where they're going to rest and where they're going to drop the bar, and that's where we're going to see the race really begin.
Emily Rolfe is also on the lead pace, along with Manon Anganese. But it's McGowan and Horvath who continue to lead. They look to be the first 2 women to the barbell. And there it is. Horvath and McGowan off at the same time, followed by Manon Anganese, and now Tia Toomey will get to work on her 30 thrusters. 30 reps at 95 pounds, 43 kilos, and then it is on to the 20 bar muscle ups on that 4-inch diameter log.
This thruster, these women have to squat all the way down, hip crease below the top of the knee, and then press out at the top. They do a great job at remaining fluid. The smoothness that they go from the top down is what's really indicative of how light that load is for them. And I mean light as in relative. Because they're so strong, it's light for them, because it is not a light thruster.
Tia Toomey now starting to put some pressure on Horvath and McGowan. Toomey through 16 and counting of those 30 thrusters. Now she's tied Horvath for the lead. McGowan's a couple reps behind. Emily Rolfe sitting solidly in 4th.
Well, and here's what's interesting about these thrusters, Sean, too, is that you can afford to push them more, meaning that you can get your body into a position where you're uncomfortable and you're suffering more if you have confidence in your log muscle-ups. If you don't have confidence, you have to overpace these so you're more focused and more fresh for that next movement.
Gabby McGowan, first woman done. Hung on late. Now 20 bar muscle-ups on the log. Laura Horvath's done, and Tia Toomey is finished. The top 3 women in the overall standings, top 3 women in this heat right now, and all chasing Alex Kazan's time of 15:39.01 seconds. So McGowan, early no rep.
And what made her come down there was that her whole body came over the log. She's not allowed to support herself with anything but her arms. Her belly can touch the log, but she can't fold over or use her elbows.
Gabby McGowan starting to struggle here. Now Toomey is in the lead. She's 2 reps up on Laura Horvath. Toomey's already won the first 3 events. If she wins her 4th, she'll tie Laura Horvath for the longest event winning streak at the Rogue Invitational.
Tia's doing a great job right here, just delegating herself to single reps. But watch, we talked about pause, don't stop. She is creating great rhythm through the up, through the swing, through the down. She's staying on the mat. I mean, it's like she's a machine.
Gabby McGowan has gotten herself sorted and looks to be getting through some reps here. Now, Ariel Lowen, we'll keep an eye on her. She's in lane number 8, right side of your screen. She's moved herself into 3rd. At the 70 rep mark, that's when these athletes will head back to the barbell for 30 more thrusters.
Ariel, another one of our athletes who has some great experience here in understanding how to use this log to her advantage. Notice that she stays behind the log with her feet on the pad, and that delays her kip swing. So when she swings her hips forward under that log, it's going to help her actually come over the top. She does a great job of using her whole body, not just her upper body.
Haley Adams is on the right side. She has yet to get a successful rep, and she has never done this before in competition.
Right. And what we're seeing out of Haley there to the right is that she's really used to being able to use that violence and speed in her hip extension to come over the top. So she's trying to use her lower body as much as she can, but you can't go quite as fast. The log will slip you right off.
Well, Tia Toomey is now done with her 20 muscle ups, back to the barbell, and she's a minute ahead of Alex Gazan's pace right now.
Wow. And we know what feeds her, Sean. It's the awareness that she's accelerating away from the rest of the field. It only allows her to build more confidence in her choices, even be a little bit more risky on movements so simple like this in the thruster. She's focused on burying the field.
Now, Laura Horvath now has 4 reps remaining. She's the closest one to Tia Toomey, who may get done with these thrusters before anybody even joins her on the barbell. She's got 20 to go.
I'll tell you right now, this particular event involves a lot of self-talk. And there's a lot of ups and downs that we see. From the left, where Gabby's struggling to kind of chicken wing her way over the log muscle up, to the self-confidence Tia's created in herself to have such a positional in the lead. And then it's the same with the other ladies. Ariel and Laura now battling rep for rep on these log muscle ups.
Now Ariel Lowen is going to be second to the barbell. Now Lowen came in 5th place overall with 185 points. She's just 25 back of Horvath for 3rd, and now here comes Laura. But with a strong performance here, and what's happening right now with Gabby McGowan, it's not inconceivable that Ariel Lowen could find herself inside the top 3.
And this is where you've got to really seize the moment if you're Ariel. Understand where you're at, your opportunity. Fight and scrap for every point. This is where the event really takes a turn. Again, it's focus and execution on technique through the log, and now it's grit, tenacity, and your ability to suffer here on the back half.
Well, Maddie Sturt is now onto the barbell. Sturt came in 10th place overall. Best finish with 8th place last night in Braveheart. Meanwhile, Tia Toomey is going to head back to the rower. And she is now still a minute ahead of Gazan.
Yeah, Alex did not actually start her row at all until 11:42.
Gabby McGowan in the white top has gotten through those 20 bar muscle ups and is on to her final set of 30 thrusters. We have a handful of women still back on those bar muscle ups. Haley Adams has gotten 4 reps. Brooke Wells is through 10. Rolfe is through 15. And Danny Spiegel has a couple left to go.
Haley's still trying to navigate those log muscle ups. Again, tough and very frustrating. You know, it's a technical limiter. And so she's out there, her body feels good, she's ready to work. That was a great rep. And so now she's had success. She's got to dial that and figure, how do I replicate this? How can I do the same thing to finish this whole set and get to the thruster bar?
Well, Tia Toomey has a 250-meter lead on Laura Horvath and Ariel Lowen. You're going to get a rep for every 50 meters. So at the 120 mark is when Toomey gets off the rower and heads to the finish line to win her 4th event, assuming that nothing goes wrong here for her. Just assaulting this competition.
I mean, I look at the body language, her focus. at the way that she's attacking, even the power that she drives away from the rower, and she is not interested at all in this race being close whatsoever. She could easily be coasting here with the lead that she had buffered.
Laura Horvath is doing her best to try and stay close, but I don't know if Toomey's going to give her any room here.
It's a very loud but silent statement Tia's trying to make right there, because she knows something about Laura. She's a phenomenal rower. The paces that Laura is capable to hold for long periods of time, or even on the back half of a workout like this after all that other work, is very, very high. So Tia's doing her best to make sure that Laura's not going to build any kind of momentum even towards the score that she's already been able to set.
Toomey is in the back half now of that 1,000-meter row. About 450 meters ago. Now Ariel Lowen is in third. Now Gabby McGowan is getting going here.
Sees the line at the end of the tunnel as we officially have 3 minutes remaining.
15:39.01 seconds is the time to beat from Alex Kazan. She was the only woman to finish the entirety of this event inside the 16-minute time cap. And Tia Toomey is just inching closer now to winning her 4th straight event. Only one other woman has ever won 4 events in a row at the Rogue Invitational, and it's Laura Horvath.
Tia with the hand up. I know that Ariel and Laura are relatively close in time and space here on this rower. They've got to be able to, I'm not even sure, I'm trying to see if Ariel's trying to get some glances at Laura's rower over there.
Got Matt Hoffman, one of our great camera people over there, getting that shot for you. There you go.
Hey, there we go. That's 152. Laura holding steady. Let's see where Ariel is. Okay, 155.
Yeah. Great work, Matt.
Man.
Those guys down the floor, man, they're unsung heroes. Working hard all day. Appreciate it.
Brooke working through her thrusters here.
Now, Brooke Wells, who came in 4th place overall, as Tia Toomey's going to win her 4th event in a row. Absolutely demolishing the time to beat. 14:25.3934 seconds, pardon me. Beats Alex Kazan by more than a minute.
Is this perhaps the first time that we've seen her look tired?
I was just going to say, that's the first time she's come across the finish line and actually looked like she worked hard.
That's right. So what we thought about this event was what was true, which is that it would even make the fittest come to a knee.
14:25.34 seconds to win her 4th straight event. Ties the record set by Laura Horvath. And she's got a perfect 4 for 4 here at the 2024 Rogue Invitational. Laura Horvath looking to be the next woman to finish up.
Wow.
And she will get in.
She demolished that last row, man.
Now, Laura trailed Gabby by 65 points in the overall standings, so she's going to have to beat Gabby by a significant margin here in order to make that up. But she is going to take a significant chunk out of it, courtesy of this event. Now, here comes Ariel Lowen, who could wind up inside the top 3.
Great execution there by Ariel. One of the biggest separators there was, of course, the way she navigated those log muscle-ups.
A shout out to the family.
That's right, gotta love that.
But Maddie Sturt, your leader on the floor. She's got 50 meters left. And Sturt is done. And she will get inside that 16-minute time cap. 4 women in Heat 2 finish up. Tia Toomey.
Wow.
The only woman to go sub 15 is Gabby McGowan, is going to surrender maybe a spot inside the top 3. We'll have to see how the rest of the scores factor in here. 4 straight wins for your 3-time Rogue Invitational champion. Laura Horvath will finish in 2nd place in the event. Ariel Lowen will take 3rd, and Alex Kazan is going to earn a 4th place finish out of heat number 1.
And I'll tell you what, we expected to see a tight race, and boy did we have that anticipation coming off those rowers, but it was right here. that Tia was able to create some great separation. Of course, Gabby struggled early with those log muscle-ups, was able to adapt and figure it out late. But Tia was able to create such a buffer by a steady single rep execution on the log, and then she showed that grit, tenacity, and capacity, of course, that she's got on that back half. And it's the first time that we've seen the champ a little bit winded.
Tia Toomey, another 100 points. Laura Horvath will take second place. She'll pick up 95. And Ariel Lowen will earn 90 courtesy of that third place finish. Alex Gazan with another solid performance takes fourth. And Gabby McGowan is going to wind up in eighth. Let's send it down to Kiki Dixon.
Okay. Tia, we meet again. Fourth event win in a row here at the Rogue Invitational. This one looked like it made you work a little bit. What was the biggest demand with this event?
Yeah, just that back end row. You didn't want to do it, but you had to. Thanks a lot, Xfila, Josh, and Katie.
All right, you have competed at the Rogue Invitational every year. What do you love about this event the most?
Except for 2022. But I think just the fact that it brings all the athletes together. Rogue provides such a great opportunity for not only creating a great event, but also giving the athletes the opportunity to earn more and make this dream a reality. And, you know, it's, I think, the only event that I've ever been to that literally give you an invitation. You don't have to pay a dime to be here. And, you know, it really goes a long way.
Rogue doing things right. How has this experience been different necessarily in Scotland versus in Texas?
Well, I think for one, this beautiful floor, you know, they've really been able to, I feel like, create that outside vibe with the turf, which I feel like resembles the Texas field. But then this floor here, that brings back memories of 2019 back in Columbus, Ohio. So I think not just that, but also the crowd. I think everyone has really turned out for us here, and they're just really getting behind us, you know. And I think it's because it's the first, you know, international comp that's come over from the US. It's a big deal, and thank you so much, Scotland, for making us feel welcome.
It's a big deal. You're a big deal. We're going to let you go catch your breath. Thank you so much, Tia.
Newsflash, Tia Toomey is winded.
It's breaking news, man.
Something you don't see very often.
Hey, it's the first of two days that we've seen her look like that, but still, man, doing what she does best. 4 straight for Tia Toomey. Ties the record set by Laura Horvath. And I'm guessing she's not done. We're certainly not done. Men, coming up next in Hunting Haggis. Stay with us as the 2024 Rogue Invitational continues.